actually a little bummed because I almost brought my orchid shirt.
Oh.
And I just wish I had.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is I'm watching RuPaul's Drag Race, Season 16, Episode 7, The Sound of Rusic. This was a really good episode.
This is a good season.
Oh, it's an interesting thought.
Yeah. It's taken me a little while to settle into these queens.
I don't know how to explain it. From the Meet the Queens, it felt different.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean, I said it in our like episode 1 through 3 recap, but I feel like production refreshed a little bit.
Yeah. Well, last year was a shit show.
And that wasn't necessarily production's fault. That was MTV's fault. Mm-hmm. But this was we'll get into details, but this was a great Rusical.
Yeah.
This was a phenomenal red carpet.
Yeah.
And
Runway.
Runway.
You just keep doing it. It's so funny.
And the like interpersonal drama progressed nicely. Do you have any talking points that you wanted to start with or anything?
The only weird thing about the Rusical to me this time is that it was girl groups again. Like it was like the plot of the Rusical was that like these 3 girl groups were trying to win the
Well, it was one of those. So there are still
swap meet.
That was great. It was funny.
It was super.
The
funny.
writing was better.
Yeah.
And there was a handful of things. So we'll go in on the Rusical. There was a handful of things that were benefiting it, and one of them was that the vocals were pre-recorded.
Yes.
And you comment on that, and I think we prefer that.
Well, it's just like in past seasons, one of the most awkward things is when they are having to sit there and record their vocals while the rest of the queens sit and have to like watch and listen to them, and like obviously more than one of them is going to end up off pitch and like all this kind of stuff. And I think also for me, that slows down the flow of the episodes. So having that just right into it.
The pre-recorded vocals, I think, helps the queens because it gives them a character.
Sure.
As opposed to now, I mean, if you're really multifaceted in the way that a handful of them are, I think the freedom to create the own character might work. But broad strokes, I think having pace and tone and all that gives them a jumping off point,
especially if you're having to do specific choreo, because that's limiting to what you can do with like your body work and your face work and stuff too.
Because there's a handful of seasons that I still have not gotten around to, and I know that they change things up because there's a handful of times that they've made them sing live. There's a handful of times where they're lip syncing, but to their own vocals.
Sure.
And I feel like this and last year's Moulin Rouge or 2 years ago, I don't remember, was similar. But it was funny to me when they announced The Sound of Rusic because I was like, have we really gotten this far without getting to it? And again, unless it was in one of those seasons that I haven't gotten to, but it was a little bit odd to me while we were watching it, the girl group quality that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Until I remembered what The Sound of Music is about.
Well, of course.
So then I was like, there's some fat that could be trimmed in general, but also even just in theme and tone that we could kind of get rid of in this day and age. I don't need to steep in that any more than we already have.
They already in the play said the word nationalist.
Yeah.
So I was like, also last year was the Footloose one. So
that one was good too.
Moulin Rouge must have been
2 years ago. I like how the Sound of Music beats were there.
Yeah.
And for instance, like the Do Dear, what's that song called? Do Re Mi.
Is it not just Do Re Mi?
Is it?
Yeah.
Like it was identifiably that song.
Yeah.
But it was doing this sort of like almost doo-wop Motown-y thing.
Sure, yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh, Adam Shankman.
Yeah.
Hairspray, all of that. And so I was like, so it was kind of a melding or a merging of things. And again, I think giving them the groups of 3 actually helped streamline a lot of it. So that way we didn't have 6 children
Sure.
And
okay,
like,
fair.
You know, one, because I mean, the Baroness, when they were talking about like when there were 3 Baronesses at first, I was sort of like, that's weird, but it actually worked, and they managed to Tsunami and Plain Jane managed to not get overshadowed by Q. Q did so good, and they're working overtime to try and make it seem like this is her weakness, and it's kind of
well, I mean, like she's not great at choreo.
She fumbled a little. I think it's her perfectionism, though.
Well, and Adam well, sure,
it's so clearly her only blind spot.
And she doesn't want to look foolish, so she doesn't give it her all. I get it. And Adam Shankman was like, all I'm getting is boy from you. And I was like, I think part of that is like the outfit and everything. But I totally, by the time we got to the end and in costume and everything, it was perfect.
And his I think it was his. The Amanda Lepore note was brilliant. And it was also giving, you said Zsa Zsa Gabor, and it was giving me Madeline Kahn in Blazing Saddles. Yeah. Have you still not seen Blazing Saddles?
I mean, I have, but it's like as a child.
I mean, I saw it when I was a kid too, but it was giving me what Lily von Stupp, I think. Oh, yeah. And I wonder if that had to have been scripted, the stole. I don't think that was something
no, probably. What, do you not believe I watched it as a child? My family watched it as a child?
I guess your extended family. It does not seem
with
like
my
something
mom and dad.
Well, so my mom and dad showed it to us.
And my grandparents' house with my Aunt Megan.
It's one of those that it's famously off color, the point of that. So once that's been taken account of, it weirdly holds up.
Sure. And Mel Brooks largely holds up. Yeah.
So I liked the cluster of nuns. I liked the cluster of children.
I have a big issue. There is always one thing. I didn't like the pine cone thing.
It was really, first of all, it was horrible. It was terrible. It was capable of being funny to me. And Mhi'ya
sold it so hard.
Mhi'ya and Dawn were so funny in that.
They were.
And that times when when Megami was on, because I completely agree with their critique that like when she wasn't singing, it's like she shut off.
Yeah.
But even I like that she was able to hold a candle to them, and I loved the giant breastplate. Your returns are
it varies, but all of the breastplates in this,
well, it just suited their wig.
They fit, yeah.
And Mhi'ya did this thing when they went into the Do Re Mi song where they all sort of sat down, and she got on all fours and was sort of like humping, I guess. I don't know.
Pine cone. It was the pine cone.
So the pine cone wasn't too far from me. It was the repeated smelling of the pine cone.
I didn't like that either.
Do you remember we had a friend, I guess I'll probably cut this, but
the hairbrush?
No.
Oh.
What are you talking about?
I don't want to put our friends on blast.
Well, this person was friend in the loosest of terms.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It was around the time that we decided that, or she decided, we all decided we were kind of.
At least the last name.
I'm going to bleep that part. And I just remember we were in, and she just was like looking at one of the displays, and she was just like, "I want to fuck that pine cone." And
I do remember that.
Do you remember that? And it was just like we were just at the right age to be like,
"Oh my god,
this is the height of like provocative." Like, so that's just the high. That's where I was going.
Oh,
but
I was going more in a realistic medical way, where that's a bad thing to do medically.
Yeah. I've lost control of this.
Sorry.
I'm trying to think if there were any other notes. Well, Saphira was
really good.
All of the leads, everyone was so good. And I'm like a low-key Plasma stan. I'm verging in high key. She's theater girl.
It's a little try hard.
Yeah, but it's also the young.
But also she's backing it up.
The theater, it comes with the territory.
Yeah.
The theater kid, the try hard and all that.
Yeah.
And it also comes with being young. But you're right, she's backing it up, and she's she's not crossing any of my lines with that stuff. She's coming up to them.
Yeah.
And I just kind of think I might have a giant crush on him. Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's
He's
not
cute.
I love the nose, but just like whatever that weird showgirls like outfit he was wearing, it was like a leotard tank top and the jeans with the high heels. I don't know. It was really working for me.
I think you'd like one of the teachers on Abbott Elementary.
Okay.
He's cute.
I don't know. It's not my, like, if you were to present me with a lineup, it's not what I think most people would think I would go for.
Yeah.
But it definitely falls under the umbrella of things. Sapphira, this was another critique that I think Michelle said, but again, I completely agree and saw it as it was happening. Sapphira, as Mother Superior, was doing the lip quiver.
Yeah,
And the way...
Because she did it in her opera, her, like, talent opera as well.
And they just, like, none of those, like, they weren't competing with each other. I don't know. It was really good.
Yeah.
Also, the surprise guest that they teased us was Melissa McCarthy, which kind of...
And not, as you joked, Becky G again.
You never know with Drag Race. You literally never know what you're gonna get.
But she was just like...
And so when she like showed up, I was like,
entity.
A real celebrity. Just okay.
Tossing cheese onto the stage.
Well, they kind of showed it in Untucked, but Adam was sort of like, you need to leave.
Yeah.
You're getting in the way. Yeah. This was, we got to check in with Plain Jane. This is the most I've liked her.
I agree.
And her like bitchiness, her nosiness, her like poking.
Her untucked drags in this one.
Well, she had a peanut gallery quality.
Well, that, but also is like, even when it was just the four of them that were safe to start, and she was like, I'm bored by Mhi'ya. And I was like, girl, I get it. Like, I'm cool with it if you're saying the truth. I'm not cool with it if you're just like, I don't like you and the way you look. Like, that's rude.
It's not even necessarily so, because I'm not bored with Mhi'ya.
But it is like...
But it's like, that is an observation that I understand.
She was like, grow a personality. And I was like, say it louder.
Well, the playing field is a little bit more leveled, and we're now 6, 7, episodes in, so we at least know who these people are. It's seemingly they know who each other are. They have gotten a chance to actually kind of feel each other out, and I just really loved that, like, once around the promenade that
they did in the workroom.
And Jane, and I'm telling you, Dawn?
Yeah. Dawn's a bitch.
But she can pull. I think I said this exact same thing last week. But it's like she can pull off
cutesy, yeah.
And because she outed Tsunami
for having a crush on Plain,
which I didn't know. And
it's obvious.
Well, now, but
no, the two of them are tight. They are all the time hanging out.
I don't know. I've warmed up to a lot. Well, I wasn't really cold, but. Yeah. I feel like there was another thing that I wanted to say specifically about the dynamics. I have also warmed up to Morphine. And actually, I really liked, we'll get to in a second, but I really like this runway look of hers.
Me too.
I just think that she was a little overshadowed. Yes. I think a lot of them went very extravagant in a way that if they hadn't, I think, because it's like or let's just dive in. Yep. So, because I clearly want to talk about it.
Also, somebody asked us in the comments last week to name the queen as they're walking because it's hard to see. We will do so.
Depending on how my ride home goes, I might pull the pictures like I used to. It just was getting...
Sure, yeah. The editing is a little tedious, y'all, so we'll do our best.
It's just difficult because I don't know what I'm maximizing. Am I maximizing getting it out as efficiently as possible? Yeah. Am I maximizing the most, detailed, or there are variables.
Yes.
So, and on that note, if you want to watch our reaction, you can head on over to Patreon, join $3 tier, where we have our full-fledged reaction, and we were much chattier this episode. Actually, we talked some shit. Don't go over there.
We talked some shit. You should watch it.
Oh, I'm sorry. This Ru look was unhinged.
It's weird.
I feel like we get like two just like out of pocket looks from her a season.
Yeah.
And the thing is I cannot and will not go as far as to say it was bad, but it was a minimum of 3 different looks together.
Okay, here's the thing. I do think it could have felt cohesive enough if the pink ruffly part was the skirt and the slinky blue silky fabric was the top.
But then there were gloves and the wig. I didn't
even clock the gloves.
the wig didn't suit. I was like, this needed a platinum blonde.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been big, but I would go more high pony or... Yeah.
It was weird. I also think she should have put a little more dimension in the eye makeup. Okay, Plasma's first. This, like, Hello Dolly Easter Parade thing...
I love it.
It's so good.
I love it so much, and I don't know how to describe it because it should look more costumey to me than it does. It's pinging the Beauty and the Beast part of my brain, even though that is not the Belle silhouette. But
because to me, it's like she said, My Fair Lady and Easter Parade and Funny Face and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, all of that.
And specifically, it's pinging the original Broadway cast because they put like red roses on that one.
Sure.
I don't know.
It's stunning.
I loved this.
And it's totally right in her wheelhouse.
And her makeup's good.
The makeup's good. The hair is good.
Her performance.
It's fantastic.
I'm a Plasma. I'm a Plasma stan.
I've liked Plasma
since
she
moment
came out.
one.
Yep. So then Saphira's next as just a big orchid. I mean, again, unreal. Unreal.
And the colors.
Yeah.
Because I would have expected pink. Like, I would have gone
like
more
a pink
traditional.
orchid or like a purple orchid.
Yeah.
But the red,
fiery
orange,
with the yellow and the yellow green and even this weird wig.
The wig is great.
And one of my issues with big looks like this is I think they can start to become unruly or you start to lose a little bit in the quality. And anytime that they go up close, I'm like, nope.
But it also, though, it's like, it doesn't really exceed her wingspan. So it's like not too big and crazy. It's like just right.
The white. I mean, just because I wouldn't have had red and yellow and green and think, well, I need to put a lot of white in it. And yet it's what?
I think that's part of how it doesn't feel overblown.
Overpowered.
Yeah. Is the white. So much white. And her makeup too. She's great at picking the right colors for her makeup too.
And the jewelry. And again, after that 1-2 punch, cute. This it looked really plain, and I'm bummed because the more I looked at it and the more time I had with it, the more because luckily
it's
Adam
morphine.
Shankman. Yes, morphine. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I'm like laser focused.
We're trying.
Adam Shankman pointed out that the flowers
Each flower
is
stoned in there. And the thing is like, if the biggest complaint here is that she didn't line the inside of her sleeves, I'm sort of fine with that.
I do think that's a little bit of a rookie mistake, but no, it's just this is such a more like this is more of a like in-person look.
Sure.
Like you could wear this in
I do think they said something about the seams not match, like the pattern not matching on the seams maybe as well. But whatever. The wig is great. The look is great and it's so cute. And this to me is a little out of her wheelhouse so far. And so I'm very impressed.
That's what I was going to get at is it didn't.
I love the flower makeup under the eyes.
It didn't feel like, Miami resort wear.
Exactly.
Which is what we were getting. And I also agree the wig, the hair, the flower, the detail. Yeah. It was all very... It's like this is more of a film costume and the other ones were stage costumes.
Yeah, I actually love the acid on the tongue. Yeah. It's Mhi'ya. I don't dislike this. I think it looks good. I think it looks great on her. I think there's a lot of elements. It really commands it, but I wish there were multiple colors of red. I think it's a little too muted.
It just sort of blurs together.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because it is yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I even said Nymphia did a similar thing, I think 2 weeks ago.
But I think it was...
But there was something about it that there was like a depth to it.
I think that's the other thing is like there's not even enough textures in the fabric for me, where like Nymphia I feel like was wearing like 11 different fabrics. You know, because it's like, even though that's stretchy and the corset is different, it's all sparkly red. Mm-hmm. So it just, something about it doesn't read exactly how, and honestly, I kind of think the glitter on the cheeks is a little sloppy. It just looks a little like not, it like the glitter's too big, maybe? Mm-hmm. I don't know. This was great. It's Dawn. You were right about blue and red. It's an underrated combo.
It's in my... Well, because remember, we wanted to see Geneva Carr's blue and red look last week. Mm-hmm. I like this. I do. I like it a lot. I guess my issue is, like, I kind of needed her to tell me what I was looking at first.
Sure.
And once she explained it, I got it a bit more. I do think it is more focused when you consider that my previous critique was that she was giving me a very kitchen sink. Yeah. All that in the kitchen sink. The quality is never the issue.
Yeah.
It's more of a preference or taste level. Mm-hmm. But I do appreciate this. I do like this a lot. And I did appreciate how it broke up some of the... Because it fits the brief, but it's not... Like, if they all just came out in a giant flower, that would... I liked this.
Yeah, I do. Adam Shankman's note about bringing your the dress, the ruined dress, all the way to the front. But also, this is like not different enough to me from the Staten Island Ferry. Mm. It's just like the same type of like a sheer lacy thing.
I like that it's like 80s bridal lingerie.
Sure.
I think that's fun. And I don't feel like I've seen it a million times.
And I actually do love the wig. The like...
Well, the whole thing has sort of
sterling wig. Fuck this Nymphia. Sorry, the one we were just talking about was Begami. This is Nymphia. This cactus... You
just said fuck this Nymphia.
This fucking cactus thing, so silly. Because this also... I would have expected her to come out in like an orchid thing. And so for her to pull this nonsense, but unbelievable.
It's so...
In a good way.
Yeah, it's so... First of all, conceptually, it's interesting. It's different.
Yeah.
The cactus flower, interesting, different. The fabric, I don't know what this fabric is, but it looks expensive. Like, it looks... You don't think so?
I think it looks like a sleeping bag.
Okay.
Like a shiny sleeping bag.
It's giving me like space age fabric. Like it's giving me like
it's shiny.
Now I see the sleeping bag, but it looks.
And then like weird little hand things. It was very silly and funny.
The quilting. Yeah. It was. It felt elevated to me in a way that I think speaks to her.
Oh yeah, her skill.
Yeah,
or at least her ability to get someone to make these for her. But she's sewn her own stuff. I also am loving this season. So I don't quite know how I want to say it. There are a lot of really good wigs, but a lot of them are not wearing wigs often, and
they're shaking some things up, and I appreciate because we don't really talk about the lip syncs a whole lot. But the bottom was Mhi'ya, and
we didn't get Q yet.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I just was gonna say it was Mhi'ya kicked her shoes off, and we did have Dawn acknowledge that in the past that is a grand faux pas. But the thing with faux pas is, and especially
sometimes
on the show,
not.
Well, if you can sell it, and if you can turn it into part of what you're doing, and that's how she was able to. Yeah. I'm starting to get a little bit of an eye for the lip syncs.
Yeah.
It's helpful for me when I know the song.
Yes.
Because when we were talking, we're here now, so I'm going to talk about it. But when we were talking about it, I was like, Megami started strong, but Megami was performing a lament.
Yeah.
And the song starts off that way, but then it turns into a celebration.
Or like an empowered.
An anthem.
Yeah.
And I feel like Megami never got over that hurdle.
You don't say. Yeah, it's a duvet.
Okay. I'm withdrawn.
This was fantastic.
I have a slightly similar note with the I was gonna say that
it's all pink. It's different shades of pink.
Mm-hmm.
There's like, I can count 5 shades of pink, and it's all placed in such a way that your eye is drawn all around it.
For my preference, I would have liked a little green. I would have put some green in there somewhere.
Sure, I will give you that. But I also like the artistry of the construction because it's just a bunch of lays. A bunch of fake lays tied all over everything. I dig it.
But again, it looks... To me,
it looks
rich.
expensive.
It looks expensive, and you'll attest for this. I am a stickler for fake flowers when I don't think they're used well.
And these are cheap as hell. These are but these seem like bargain basement silk lay flowers, but also then it's just like the fully stoned bodysuit she's wearing under, and like. Yeah, I dig it. And again, with the not really a wig because it's mostly just flowers up there. I dig it. I don't think it's my favorite.
No,
I think Plasma's was my favorite, but it's good. It's great.
Saphira's.
Yeah.
This was actually really good. It was slightly underwhelming at first for me, but I think part of the you got to tell a story, and I think that's a little bit what we were lacking from Mhi'ya.
Yeah.
That if she was the madam of a saloon, I think I needed something, and part of, like, you obviously get the Rapunzel.
Yeah.
And bless you for not just doing Tangled.
The movie, yeah.
For understanding that these stories exist.
Yeah. Well, because I like the color story of this. It's really pretty.
But the fact that it's plain Jane adds to it.
Yes, agreed. Because also then
we need sweetness
the silly
from her.
little doll at the end of the hair is super
was
funny.
Playful. Yeah. It was because she's got smutty covered. We know that. Yeah. I needed sweetness from her. I needed to know that she could. I don't know. This gave her dimension for me. This gave her depth.
And I like that it was a little different than her normal stuff. That was helpful to me. And you're right. Legs for days.
Oh, my God. That blonde's also just really good on her. And
then Tsunami.
I liked it a lot.
Because I also was with you, like, when they were back in the workroom, they were like, there's not a flower on you. And I was like, but it feels so
botanical.
Floral.
Because it was giving me...
Poison Ivy.
Yeah. 97 Poison Ivy, Uma Thurman. I also love this red. She's been doing the red hair.
Yeah.
And I like it a lot. It's just good.
It is good.
I mean, I guess I'll admit that it is one of the weaker links if you line them all up and make me say that. And frankly, when she said it's a bouquet upside down, I was like, bah.
But also in the workroom, she was like, I'm happy to be safe again. Love that energy where she's just like, I'm going to coast for as long as I can coast. Get it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Upside down. Oh, cellophane. Yeah, okay. I think we might have been talking about something else when she was describing it. Yeah, no.
Because I wanted the bright pink somewhere else, or even maybe a yellow. I don't know. There was something more that I wanted, but I thought it was very good.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Yep.
So, the bottom, the lip sync was Mhi'ya and Megami. Who was Morphine?
Yeah.
I mean, that was just even the judges said it was like everybody did so good at this point.
I do think Morphine did better.
She did better than Mhi'ya, especially when my biggest issue with Mhi'ya in the performance was when her habit got caught and she left it there for so long.
But then she didn't like do something when she like put it back. Because at first I thought it was like a joke on purpose, but then she didn't play it off in any type of way. And so I was like, well, that was a missed opportunity.
So I don't know. It was a really good episode. These glasses are.
You're loving Michelle's glasses, and I actually liked her whole look. I thought it was good.
I every so often I get a little tired. I get a little bored, and I'm like, show me something I haven't seen before. And
she does. She's good at that.
I like Michelle. Yeah. Some people don't, but
no, I like Michelle. And Adam Shankman looks amazing.
He looks so good.
He was doing a little.
He was doing
swishy walk out of the workroom.
He was doing things. Yeah. I'm in my
older guys are hot era.
No, well, I stayed there.
Silver
but
Fox.
No, I'm in a very queer. I'm in kind of a queenie place because it was something that I had a really hard time with when I was younger. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know if it was internalized homophobia or.
I was just gonna say, there's this thing called internalized homophobia.
Well, I know for a fact that is something that I have and still do struggle with, but for whatever reason, where I personally am at in my journey, I'm in a sort of and what of it place.
Yeah.
So,
and what about it?
Okay, well, that was what we thought about this episode of Drag Race, and yeah.
Bye.